Hey YouTube, welcome back to Escape Roots Yoga. I'm Jody Scaro. Today we are doing a Vinyasa to cultivate abundance. So let's start down on the mat in a child's pose. We're going to start from a place of gratitude today. So while you're kind of getting settled, getting into your child's pose, just allow yourself to find a few things, or maybe a lot of things, that you are grateful for. So when we talk about cultivating abundance, and we'll just chat for a second as we get into this child's pose. When you talk about cultivating abundance, we're really talking about seeing the world from a mindset that means there is more than enough for everyone. We don't really subscribe to that scarcity mindset where, if your neighbor gets a piece of pie, there's less pie for you. We're kind of saying there's enough pie for everyone. Just allow yourself to kind of fully come into the space, into the practice. Get ready for some heart openers, some chest openers, and some gratitude with this practice. When you feel ready to practice, let's kind of work our way towards a downward facing dog, but we'll pause on the way up. So we're just going to come onto the toes and keep the knees kind of pushing down towards the mat. So this is going to kind of start to get into the feet, soles of the feet, the Achilles tendon area, and maybe you want to introduce a little bit of rocking here. So maybe shifting forwards onto the knees and then bringing the weight back to the toes, and just kind of notice what you're feeling here. And then when you're ready, we're going to progress this into a downward facing dog. So begin to straighten the knees a little bit more and check in with your body. We want equal weight distribution between our four limbs. And maybe you want to have a little bend in the knees to get started here, possibly pushing the rib cage back towards the thighs and wrapping the outer arms in. You can nod your head yes, shake your head no. And just allow yourself to already feel a sense of gratitude for this pose. Another day, another downward facing dog, right? And just this body that you're living in that's able to do these poses that I would say a lot of people, a high percentage of people, don't even try to do. So nice work already. When you're ready, let's rise onto the toes. Draw the belly button back towards the spine. Close the rib cage and roll your way forwards into a high plank. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, drop the knees down, but puff up the upper back. So we're in bear pose with the upper back puffed up. And then send your hips up and back. Come back to your downward facing dog. Exhale. Inhale, roll your way forward, same core engagement, belly button back, ribs close, keep the upper back puffy, and then drop the knees, send the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Let's take 3 or 4 more like that, just beginning to move at your own pace, riding the wave of the breath, and then coming back to your home to downward facing dog. A few more, just kind of getting the cracks, the groans, and the tightness out of the backs of the legs here. And maybe starting to feel a little touch of a burn in the shoulders as you roll your way through these spinal waves. On your next trip forwards, we're going to stay in a high plank. Inhale here, and then exhale, lower down onto the belly. You can walk your hands out to the top corners of the mat, and then inhale for a cobra variation. Just keep the chin kind of tucked. So we're looking for a long spine here, not too much of a curve in the the cervical part of the spine. As you exhale, lift those elbows up nice and high. Draw the chin down towards the earth. Inhale, rise. Exhale, flow your way down, trying to make this almost like a watery, flowy sensation. So inhale as you roll up like a wave. Exhale as you float down, elbows lifting high. 2 more, inhale. Noticing the upper back beginning to activate. Exhale. Last one, inhale. Exhale. Hands come under the shoulders. Let's curl the toes under, press up into your high plank. And then exhale, downward facing dog. From here, inhale, lift your right leg nice and high, keeping the toes down, facing down, that is. So hips are even. And then inhale, lift that leg a little bit higher, stacking your hips now, kind of giving that right leg free rein to go wherever it wants, maybe out to the side a touch, maybe kind of crossing the line, going behind you, wherever feels good. A little bit of circular movement here. And then when you feel ready, exhale, bend the top knee, look under that left armpit, circles with the ankle if you would like. Go both ways. Inhale here. And then exhale very slowly. Pull forwards, nose comes to knee. We're moving through cheetah and then dropping the foot in between the hands. Back knee drops. We're gonna reach for our elbows overhead, coming into your Ajjanasana or your low crescent lunge. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Pull that right hip crease back. Low belly in. And then work your way back towards a half split. You can bring the hands down kind of in front of you, maybe under the shoulders. Or if you want, you can float those hands up behind you. We're gonna flow between these two poses. So inhale, roll your way forwards, reach for the elbows, lift the chest. Big happiness, big warm glow in the heart center. And then exhale, take the hips back. Finding your half split, your Ardha Hanumanasana. Inhale, take your hips forwards. And then exhale, come on back. Take a few more like this. Once again, just riding your wave of the breath, listening to this beautiful body you're living in, seeing if it wants more of a hamstring stretch as we come into our half split, or if it wants a little bit more of a hip flexor stretch as you reach your way forwards, and pausing wherever you see fit. On your next trip forwards, we'll take our left hand down, curl the back toes under, right arm reaches up. We're in an easy twist. Trying to pull the right hip crease back and see if we can keep the hips even, so not letting that left hip drop too much lower than the right. When you're ready, rise up onto the fingertips on the left hand and then bring it up towards that left thigh. So coming into a bit of a balance here. Breathing and then floating up into a twisted lunge. Once again, make sure that right hip isn't lifted or the left hip isn't sinking. And then inhale, take a little back arch here. Exhale, open up nice and strong into your warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Inhale, turn your front palm towards the sky. Take it back into an exalted warrior, keeping the belly button drawing back towards the spine. And then when you're ready, we find extended side angle. Maybe elbow comes onto knee, or maybe it comes down onto the floor. Really opening up through the chest. And just allowing yourself to kind of sit here for a moment. When you're ready, rise back up, warrior two. We're gonna straighten the front knee, bring your palms together overhead. Great big inhale, let it feel good. Exhale out through the mouth as you sink back down, warrior two. One more like that, inhale, rise. Big exhale out through the mouth, letting it feel good. Rise back up, heel toe the back foot in, typewriter the ribs over as you come into Trikonasana or your triangle pose. You can keep those bottom fingers hovering, or if you want a little bit more of a stretch and less strength, you can reach for that palm to come to the floor, whatever feels good for you. Once you're here, take your left bicep up by your left ear, and then we're just gonna take some big circles with that left arm. Just kind of allowing all of that space to come into the back, taking what you need, feeling what you feel. And then when you're ready, bring your left hand down to the floor, so you're gonna have to bend that front knee and heel toe your right foot out to the side. Bit of a shaky transition as we come into lizard pose. Bringing your elbows down to the mat if your hips are lower than your heart. And if not, feel free to just stay up on your hands. Just a reminder, this practice is for you, so there's no need to compete with someone you're doing this class with, or with me, or with anyone else in the room. This is just for you. It doesn't matter. There's no prizes. From here, take your left arm up towards the sky. And then take it back behind you. So fingertips are looking towards the back of the mat, pointing towards the back of the mat. If you want a little bit more here, you can begin to bend that back knee. And we're gonna look for the outer edge of the ankle. Now in this big kind of twist here, we're gonna kick into that back arm. So you're trying to open up through the chest as you kick with the back leg. Now if you want a little bit more of a quad stretch, you can kind of do the opposite and pull the leg in towards you. So chest or heart opener, you're kicking away. Quad stretch, you're pulling towards you. So two kind of options here. And release, nice work. From here, bring your palms down to the earth, pick up your back thigh, engage the low belly, and step back to your high plank. From here, exhale, lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog, our first one, so take a few moments with it, really opening up through the chest. And then exhale, take it back for downward facing dog. Nice work. Okay, when you're ready, inhale, lift that left leg up towards the sky. Toes are pointing down towards the ground. You're pulling that right hip crease back, pressing the floor away with the hands. And then when you're ready, you can stack those hips, lift the left leg as far as it wants to go, and kind of just let it travel a little bit left, a little bit right, feeling kind of how that changes the stretch in your body. And then when you're ready, bend the top knee. You can open the hips a little bit more, and then look under that right armpit, see if you can see your ankle, and take some circles with it. See if you can kind of drop your left side of the rib cage so it's a little bit lower. And then when you're ready, inhale here. Exhale, pull forwards, nose to knee, nice and slow. Low belly engages, ribs close, and drop that left foot in between the hands. Rising up into your Anjaneyasana, reaching for the elbows. And then once again, pulling your left hip crease back here. Try to pull your ribs back. I have a tendency to kind of flop mine forward. So if you have a flexible back and a weaker core, like myself, then you really have to focus on collecting the ribs and drawing them back. So lifting the chest here. And then when you're ready, we're gonna crawl back to a half split. Option to keep the hands under the shoulders or to float them up behind you. Just a reminder, we didn't say this on the other side, but a bend in the front knee is actually very helpful here and very safe for your body. So if you want a little bit more of a relaxed stretch, a bend is a good idea. Keep pulling that left hip crease back as you float your way forwards. And we'll find the same kind of floating and flowing between those two poses that we took on the other side. Activating some of your stabilizer muscles here if you have no hands on the ground, or just leaning into some really nice stretches if you're kind of crawling your way forwards and back. A few more like this. Listening to the body, giving it what it wants. And then when you come forwards, take your right hand, place it down, left arm comes up towards the sky, and then curl those back toes under, feeling the strength, the power, the abundance that already lives within your body. And then squeeze the inner thighs as you rise up onto the fingertips on the right hand. And then take the right hand back towards your thigh. A little bit of a balance here. Try to lift the belly up off the thigh and then rise up into your twisted lunge. Once again, making sure that that left hip isn't lifting and the right hip is even. So trying to find some stability in the hips as well here. When you're ready, inhale, take a little back arch. Opening up through the chest, letting this feel amazing. And then exhale, open up for your warrior two. Inhale, turn the front palm up and open up, exalting your warrior. Pulling the core in nice and tight. Whatever arm variation feels good for you, take it. And then make your way back to warrior two. Left hand comes down to the ground and we take our extended side angle in whatever version is going to feel good for you today. When you're ready, let's rise up back into warrior two. And then inhale, rise up, palms touch overhead. Exhale out through the mouth, let it feel amazing. Inhale, gathering energy overhead. And exhale, letting it rain down, letting it feel extra, extra good this morning, this afternoon, whenever you're practicing. Inhale, rise back up. Heel toe the back foot in. Typewriter the ribs over and flow into your triangle pose. When you're ready, you can begin to take some circles with that right arm, trying to draw the right bicep all the way up by the right ear. Maybe you're feeling an extra stretch through the back, kind of the lat area. It's one of my favorite kind of dynamic ways to add to a triangle pose. When you're ready, take your right hand down, bend that left knee and heel toe out to the side, so toes are pointing towards the top corner of the mat, and then we're coming down into a lazy lizard here. Once again, elbows on the floor if you like. When you feel ready, take the left arm up towards the sky, and then exhale as it points back towards the back of the mat, and maybe you're bending the right knee in. And finding either that little chest opener as you kick into that back arm, or a quad stretch as you pull the foot closer to the glute. Yogi's choice. Excellent. Release that foot. Press the hands down and curl the back toes under as you step into your high plank. Exhale, lower down chaturanga. Inhale for upward facing dog. Then from here, we're actually going to bend the left knee. So you're just balancing on the top of the right foot, and then roll the hips to the right. You're stepping that left foot behind you and lifting up into your wild thing. So if that was your first time doing that transition, just work your way to wild thing, and I'll show you again on the other side. From here, make your way back to high plank. We'll take a vinyasa to reset. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Inhale, roll your way forward, high plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing. And then bend your right knee. From here, roll to your right, dropping that right foot down on the floor. And then inhale as you rise up, wild thing. Breathing here. Lifting those hips nice and high, opening up through the heart. Feeling gratitude, abundance, strength. Back to high plank. Downward facing, nice work. From here, we're gonna drop down onto our knees. We're taking camel. If camel is super not in your practice, you can take any other back bend that you would like. So maybe a bridge pose or a wheel pose on your back might be some good alternatives. Okay, I'm going to leave my toes tucked. You can leave the tops of your feet on the mat if you would like. Slide your hands into imaginary back pockets. Squeeze the elbows back, almost like you're trying to get them together. And then press the glutes down and away. So it's almost like you're trying to pull the pockets of your pants down, if we stick with that analogy. And then inhale, lift the chest. Send the hips forwards. And find yourself leaning back into camel. Now, if that feels like enough, you can stay there. If you want a little more, you can reach the hands back for the heels and come into a more bound version of this pose. From here, if you want a little bit more, you can untuck the toes, or if you want to stay with me, you can come back up. We'll bring the biceps up by the ears and then begin to shift the weight back as you follow your fingertips, and we work towards a camel to wheel transition. So if this is your first time trying it, definitely keep the toes tucked and just follow your fingers with your hands and really, really trust yourself. In whatever back bend you're in, just take a few moments. Remember, with any back bend, remember to come out before you have to. And we will all meet on our backs. When we are ready, Once you've made it to your back, let's draw the knees into the chest, give the legs a little bit of a hug, almost like you're trying to do a child's pose on your back. So trying to get the knees kind of in the elbow crease here, and then you can hold your hands or maybe hold your wrists. And we'll just take 5 breaths here. Now, if holding your wrists or elbows seems like a crazy idea, just hug the knees into your chest in any way, shape, or form. And be kind to yourself. There's no need to be upset if a certain silly arm balance or arm bind rather doesn't work on your body. We're all different. And release those legs. We're just going to take a broken bridge now. So feet come to the outer edges of the mat and knees knock together. A quick little trick that I normally do is I will take my hands to my hips and see if I can kind of check that they're even. And sometimes you kind of have to shift your weight to one side more than the other. And then same thing with ribs. See if one is a little higher than the other and see if you can kind of auto-correct that. So shift yourself into a more symmetrical alignment. And then look straight down your body and see if you can get the knees right in the middle. And hands can come up to cactus. Nice work. And now the real work of cultivating abundance begins. You can bring your eyes to close and your awareness to your heart center. Begin breathing space and love into that area of the chest. From here, take the left knee and just allow it to fall out to the side. So we come into a bit of a windshield wiper. And then let the legs lazily come to the other side. And you can take that a few times. From here, let's take the right leg, cross it over the left, maybe eagle legs if you would like, and then just let the legs fall to the left. Coming into a twist. Now let the awareness travel up to the third eye. And just begin repeating to yourself as you breathe, abundance is everywhere. Again and again, abundance is everywhere. You can begin to switch sides now, just taking your time, moving nice and slow, keeping the body in this relaxed state. And maybe now we begin to change our mantra to what is made for me will always find me. When you feel about even, make your way down onto your back for a Savasana. For me today, I will be using a bolster under my upper back just to do kind of a supported fish as a closer. As my Savasana, you can pick whatever feels good. Just begin to let yourself find that place of rest. And if there are any distracting sounds around you, I know there are definitely some around me today with the construction going on outside my balcony. But just kind of allow yourself to let those go. Almost like clouds passing by a mountain range. Release the tongue from the top of the mouth and just let the face soften. What is meant for you will find you. Abundance is everywhere. When you're ready, begin to deepen your breath and add some movement into your body. You can interlace the hands overhead, take a great big stretch. And as you exhale, begin to make your way up to a seat. There's absolutely no rush. And we'll finish with a chant. Inhale together. And exhale with me. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Peace, Peace, Peace. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please subscribe and let me know in the comments, and I will make more like this. Cheers.